Yeah. So my name is Richie. I'm known as the Volvo Wizard, Volvo Doctor, and yeah, my passion in life as an adult seems to be Volvos.
If you're ready.
This is a story of where it all began for me. As a child, I can remember being in secondary school, about year 10, so about 14, 15 years old, and Dad coming home with a 740 SE. But that was one surprise, and the other surprise was also to find that Mum had come home with a 740 GLT. So yeah, that was where the story began. And from that day, Dad always drummed into us that Volvos were very, very safe cars. They were very, very family orientated cars. They were a great place to be. But being 14 years old, I sort of didn't really take that on board. And I just saw them as an old granddad's car where people with a flat cap would wear and maybe had pipes and slippers and that sort of thing, which was pretty cool.
Gone full circle.
Most definitely has gone full circle. Passion really only came along for me personally as I became a little bit older and noticed that, finding out that Volvos had rear-wheel drive cars, that was a big thing for me. Obviously the 740 was a rear-wheel drive car, but I wasn't that really in touch with them at the time. Like I say, I just saw it as like an old man's car. It was only as I got older that I realised how much fun you can have in rear-wheel drive cars, and yeah, that's where the passion sort of grew from. The first Volvo that I ever bought was a C70. It was a T5, so it's what we know as the P80 chassis, which was derived from the Volvo 850, the legendary Volvo 850 of course. This car was a bit of a money pit in a sense because it had an ME7, which is the type of throttle body that's used, and ECU that's used in the car. It had that throttle body which was problematic to say the least. I ended up spending a lot of money and time sorting issues out with that, and also having a clutch on it. I didn't pay a lot of money for the car back in that time. And the next Volvo which came along into the household was a S40 T4. The wife ended up buying, and it was in the lovely Panama yellow. So quite a rare colour, and very, very similar to the Volvo 850 gull or cream yellow which there is. And it stood out, stood out a mile. That was a great little car.
Go on, people on the forums will be aware of Matty and his beloved Panama yellow.
Yeah, Mr. Matty B. Yeah, he's got a massive following, obviously, in Instagram. He put a lot of effort, obviously, into the big yellow car Convoy. Yeah. That was obviously great stuff and great awareness. Not to have such bias and prejudice towards what is a lovely colour. Very summertime colour, isn't it? It's lovely. The Panama was a car that my brother had owned, and I think he got rid of it because he bought one of the later platform S60s. It had only been out a couple of years, and he wanted to offload that. I don't think he was offered very much as far as part exchange, and I offered then, my other half offered that she liked it and she wanted to have it. It ended up, I'm sure there was a problem. There was a problem with the engine. I think the head gasket went. Unfortunately, he got broken up for spares. Led me on to making new friendships and sort of developing myself in the network of Volvo enthusiasts and clubs that there is about. That's where it sort of all started. There was a bit of a break though. Then I went and had a Nissan Pulsar GTIR, a Nissan Sunny GTI, and I had a Honda Civic EP3 for a little bit.
You almost turned into a racer. Almost
until a Skoda Fabia VRS absolutely destroyed me on the lights on the old traffic light Grand Prix, and I found out it was only a little 1.4 that was in those Fabias, and that was it for me with the Honda. I can't knock obviously the handling on, they're absolutely amazing, but any sort of damp or wet on the road, and yeah, the thing was terrible. It just wouldn't move. Yeah.
What happened after that then?
Going on from the EP3, I actually done a deal with a lad down on the south coast, and I swapped the EP3 with a Volkswagen that I had at the time, and that's when I had my first Volvo S60R. That was in flash green, so another bright colour, and it had the orange Atacama interior.
Perfect combination.
Yes, I mean, it had the M66 gearbox, a 6-speed gearbox, and obviously the revolutionary chassis which they put into the S60R, you know, with all-wheel drive, adaptable chassis settings so you could have comfort, sport and advanced. S60R, I think in the UK, if I remember correctly, is 2003.
So in 2003 you've got a car with all-wheel drive, a Haldex system, I believe, and adjustable damping.
Yeah, exactly.
In a Volvo saloon.
In a Volvo saloon, 300 brake horsepower on tap, you know, which is a lot of power. Don't quote me on that, but I think I'm pretty sure for the manual it was around about 5.6, 5.7 seconds. So very, very quick car for back then. So going on from the S60R, that sort of really introduced me into the Volvo world and what sort of cars were about, performance, dynamics, and obviously the safety which is involved with the Volvos. And I really started to get involved with a lot of clubs and going to shows and meets and different sorts of things with Volvos. Over the next sort of 5 years or so from having that first Volvo S60R, I think I've probably had around about 30 to 35 Volvos, all different eras of Volvo. I've had pretty much all of the marks up to the P2 chassis. What's
the oldest Volvo you've owned?
The oldest Volvo that I've owned was a 1962 Volvo Amazon, which is known. That had a B1800cc engine in it. It was 4-door, a very nice cream sort of white colour, and it had a beautiful red vinyl interior, shall we say. It was very nice.
So of all the Volvos you've owned, which was your favourite one? Why?
I'd say up until recently that it would be the Mark II 3-door 360 GLT. And I say until recently, it's because I see it sort of takes a little bit of time for me to have the feeling and connection with the car. You know, it's very easy to buy a car and then just drive it and then pass it on and not really feel much attachment to it. The 360 GLT sort of ticked all the boxes in my opinion, up until recently. But now I do feel that it is my 1995 850 T5R. I love that, you know, I absolutely love everything about it.
We have a whole separate video planned to talk about Richie's Volvo 850 T5R, so stay tuned to Automotive Tales for that video.
What's the craziest thing you've done with one of your Volvos?
To be honest, there is so many. There is so many. The event where I'm probably the most proud would be Volvo 600 back in 2019. Yeah, that was very cool. I was fortunate enough to take along the second S60R which I owned, which was a very special car in its own right.
What was Volvo 600? What was its purpose?
Volvo 600 was an event for two reasons. The main primarily reason was to break the world record for the amount of Volvos in a convoy at one time. The second part of Volvo 600 for me has a personal and strong tie, and I feel was more important, obviously, as well as obviously getting a world record, but it was to raise money for charities to do with cancer and cancer research and helping those that are suffering with cancer, and of course helping families that are suffering with cancer.
So that's part of the kind of Volvo community. So I'm talking from behind the camera, but we both know that the community is really strong, and an event had happened not that long before Volvo 600 that really tugged the heartstrings of the whole community. And I think the most impressive thing about that was the turnaround of that event and the support and the money it raised. Do you remember what the total was that it raised for cancer research?
To be honest with you, just talking about it, you know, it gives me goosebumps. It genuinely does, because it means a hell of a lot to me. If I remember correct, the official figure that was raised for cancer charities was around about £14,000. That was up until the point of the day. I think after that, and don't quote me on this, but I think it might have been around about £17,000, which was donated by the Volvo community to help various charities out. It was an amazing feat, absolutely amazing feat.
So the best part of £17,000 raised off the back of a single day's event.
Yeah.
For charity.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. Unfortunately, we didn't manage to get the record because of some constraints to do with record regulations and parameters, what you've got to do. But it sort of spurred on another event which is now going to be happening next year, and another massive event to raise hopefully even more money to help people in need. It's going to be great.
Volvo 600 was attended not by the original planned 600, but nearer 1,200, I think.
Yeah,
from all over the world, I believe.
Yeah, that's right. I believe that they closed the gates at 1,210. I think was what they closed the gates at. I'm pretty sure that almost 1,500 people were supposed to be in attendance or tried to attend. Absolutely amazing. With people travelling as far as Italy. There were some others from further east into Europe as well, which travelled and came across over to England for that great day at Bruntingthorpe.
Yeah, I think we saw some from the Netherlands as well, where there's a strong Volvo following.
Indeed. Volvo community, it's not a massive community, especially in this country, but even around the world, the community is so small, and when anyone hears or gets wind of an event like this, people just want to be involved, and it's amazing. It's amazing to be a part of, something I'm very, very proud of.
Very good. Yeah, absolutely. You and me both.
If you enjoyed this video, do please like, share and subscribe. Thank you for watching.
You can also now follow us on all the usual social media things.
Can I say it again?
Yeah.
Balls that up.